And as an alarm clock goes off, 53 past the hour, welcome back, everybody.
Happy Mother's Day.
Absolutely. The 19th century poet William Wallace wrote that the hand that rocks the cradle is the hand that rules the world.
That's right. Our next guest says 17 years of researching presidents and their mothers proves that point.
Doug Wead is the author of The Raising of a President, and he joins us now from Washington, appropriately. Good to have you here, Doug.
Thank you, Julia.
We're talking, you've done a lot of research on presidential moms. Which presidents are mama's boys?
Every modern president, with perhaps the exception of Jack Kennedy, were mama's boys. I mean, Bush, Clinton, Carter, Ford, all the way to Woodrow Wilson, Theodore Roosevelt, every modern president.
Well, you say Jack Kennedy was not a mama's boy. Why so?
Well, you know, they've just come to light the interview that Jackie Kennedy gave to Teddy White, in which she made the point, or made the statement, that Rose never really loved Jack, that history made him what he was. I'm sure that that's not true, but that was the perception. But the others were all definitely mama's boys. Jack identified with his father.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt has a rather unusual tidbit about his youth as it came to bathing. Is that correct?
Yes, Sarah Roosevelt, his mother, a very powerful woman and beloved by the country. At the time, she gave a radio address, national radio address on Mother's Day. The whole country heard it. No TV, of course, back then, and just a handful of networks. And it was anticipated like the State of the Union address. But she was a possessive mother. She didn't let FDR have a bath without her until he was 9 years old. Very powerful woman.
Yikes.
I'm not going to touch that one.
Well, look at her. You can see she probably would insist upon it.
Psychologists,
Come on, Mike.
Well, no,
I mean, we should insist upon it.
Well, look at her. You're talking about a stern woman. Holy
The psychologists say that the child struggles to break from a possessive woman, and that's where part of the leadership qualities come from.
Look at that. You just
there you go.
You will take it.
That makes sense.
It's bath time, Sonny.
If you had to give an award to the greatest presidential mom, would there be one that stands out from
There are many. Gerald Ford's mother, she was a battered wife, abused, lived with a very wealthy husband in Omaha, Nebraska. I have a picture in my book of the mansion she lived in, but unlike many women who are in that situation, she ran from it, broke free, went to Michigan, lived very humbly, married to a paint salesman, but her son became president because of her decision. And Abraham Lincoln's stepmother. Stepmothers are much maligned, but Sarah Bush Johnson Lincoln may be the greatest of all the presidential mothers, and she was a stepmother. She loved him and nurtured him, and he became America's beloved president.
I guess all this is just a matter of perception or whatever, but you say that the greatest presidential mom is whom?
Well, I think that Lincoln's stepmother
Lincoln's stepmother,
qualify.
yeah, that's an amazing.
You know, interesting tidbit or fact is that so many of these presidents are named after their mother. John Fitzgerald Kennedy, named after Rose Fitzgerald. We know that. But Richard Milhous Nixon, named after Hannah Milhous. And Ronald Wilson Reagan, named after Nellie Wilson. And Lyndon Baines Johnson, named after Rebecca Baines.
Wow.
And all through history, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, named after Sarah Delano. I could go all the way through history. And the psychologists say that in the first weeks of life, when the mother is nurturing that baby, she feels a special love towards the baby that bears her name, and that edge is all they need to go on to greatness. Even nominees like John Forbes Carey is named after his mother,
I'd have to name my kid Mikalevich.
Rosemary Forbes.
Mikalevich.
Yeah.
A little Mikalevich.
Doug, I was so busy laughing at Mike. We were talking about the bathing aspect that I didn't hear about the greatest presidential mom thing. That's why I repeated it again. But you also have, I think, keys to raising a president. You have some advice there.
There is a reoccurring theme. If you boiled it down to just a couple of words, it's gentle but firm. The children are given structure by a very strong-willed mother. If you look at Barbara Bush, I mean, from George Washington's mother to Barbara Bush, these are very strong women.
And Barbara Bush is said to be a very, as a mom, real large and in charge. I mean, she's a lady that, you know, she rules the roost, right?
It's true, and it's true of many of these mothers. In fact, it's true of most. There's this remarkable trend. There's an empowering, strong-willed mother, and there's an absent father. The father either dies young or is absent, and the son strives for approval from a father he feels is rejected.
That's nice.
His books are called The Raising of a President and All the President's Children. Doug Wead, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Julia.
It's very interesting. I love these
Thanks,
things.
Doug.
Yeah, I'm going to send you back to Dallas. You have me cracking up over here.
Well, 9 years old is a long time to take a bath with Mama.
I know, but I'm just...
Yikes.